Picture this, risking your life to collect a golden liquid that could heal wounds, preserve food, and even connect you to the divine. This was the extraordinary power of honey in prehistoric times. But how did this sweet substance become so essential to our ancestors' survival? Let's journey back in time to discover the answer. Long before agriculture transformed our relationship with the land, before the first cities rose from the dust, honey was one of nature's most precious treasures. When our ancestors roamed the ancient landscapes as hunters and gatherers, this golden elixir was worth every danger required to obtain it. Used as a vital food source, a powerful medicine, and even in sacred rituals, honey played a crucial role in both the survival and cultural development of early humans. Today, we'll explore how honey did far more than simply nourish bodies. It shaped beliefs and practices that continue to echo through human civilization thousands of years later. From dangerous honey hunts depicted in cave paintings to elaborate spiritual ceremonies, the story of honey is truly the story of humanity's ingenuity and resilience. If you love history and want to unravel the mysteries of our ancient past, hit that like button, subscribe to the Dawn of Humankind channel, and make sure you never miss an episode. Join us as we dive into the fascinating world where a simple substance from nature became one of the foundations upon which human culture was built. Honey collection in prehistoric times was definitely not for the faint of heart. Imagine this, you're climbing a massive tree, towering almost 100 feet above the ground, with nothing but your bare hands and perhaps a simple rope made from plant fibers. As you near the hive, the air fills with an ominous buzzing, thousands of angry bees ready to defend their precious golden treasure with their lives. Now here's the truly astonishing part. Our ancestors did this without any protective gear, no beekeeping suits, no smoke machines to calm the bees, not even proper tools to safely extract the honeycomb, just raw courage and determination. We know this dangerous practice was widespread because of remarkable cave paintings discovered throughout the world. The famous rock art at Cuevas de la Araña, or spider caves in Spain, shows us a honey hunter, suspended from what appears to be a flimsy rope, reaching precariously into a bee nest while surrounded by swarming insects. These 8,000-year-old images tell us a compelling story of human bravery and ingenuity. But why would anyone take such extraordinary risks? The answer lies in honey's incredible value. In a world where refined sugar didn't exist, honey provided a concentrated source of energy, unlike anything else in nature. Just a small amount could deliver the calories needed to sustain a person through long hunts or harsh winters. During times of food scarcity, having access to honey could mean the difference between survival and starvation. In some traditional societies that still practice wild honey collection today, like the Hadza people of Tanzania, honey can provide up to 15% of their total diet. And during honey season, this number can jump to nearly 40%. Our ancestors likely depended on it in similar ways. What's particularly fascinating is that some honey hunters developed remarkable techniques to minimize the danger. They would study bee behavior, learning the perfect time to approach a hive. Some would create smoke using specific plants known to calm the bees, while others would identify the queen bee and carefully remove her first, causing confusion among the worker bees. The next time you enjoy a spoonful of honey, remember the incredible story behind humanity's ancient relationship with this golden treasure. A story of remarkable courage, profound knowledge of nature, and the lengths our ancestors would go to for survival. Honey wasn't just a delicious treat for our ancestors, it was their medicine cabinet in a pot. Long before modern pharmaceuticals, this golden substance served as one of humanity's first and most effective remedies. Our prehistoric forebears, through careful observation and generations of trial and error, discovered something remarkable that science has only recently confirmed. Honey has powerful healing properties. Imagine you're living 10,000 years ago. You've cut your hand while crafting a stone tool, and in a world teeming with bacteria and without proper sanitation, even a small wound could become fatally infected. This is where honey became truly miraculous. Our ancestors discovered that applying honey to wounds and burns not only soothed the pain, but actually prevented infection. What they couldn't see was honey's remarkable ability to create a hostile environment for bacteria. Its high sugar content draws moisture away from bacterial cells, while natural enzymes in honey produce small amounts of hydrogen peroxide, a natural disinfectant. Ancient Egyptian medical texts from 4,000 years ago document dozens of remedies using honey for everything from skin wounds to stomach ailments. The Edwin Smith Papyrus, one of the world's oldest surgical texts, recommends honey as a standard treatment for wounds. Similar evidence appears in ancient Sumerian clay tablets and traditional Chinese medical writings. What's truly fascinating is how effective this ancient remedy was. In a world without antibiotics, where a simple infection could easily become lethal, honey likely saved countless lives. Modern research has vindicated our ancestors' wisdom. Today, medical-grade honey is used in hospitals to treat antibiotic-resistant infections and chronic wounds that won't heal with conventional treatments. But perhaps the most extraordinary use of honey in ancient medicine was in preservation of the dead. The ancient Egyptians recognized honey's incredible preservative properties and used it in their embalming practices. In some cases, bodies were immersed in large quantities of honey as part of the mummification process. This practice wasn't limited to Egypt. Alexander the Great was reportedly preserved in honey after his death for the long journey back to Macedonia. There's even a fascinating historical account of a nobleman in ancient Arabia who was preserved in honey for 400 years and was said to be perfectly recognizable when discovered. While we might take this particular story with a grain of salt, it speaks to the profound trust ancient peoples placed in honey's preservative powers. The antibacterial properties that made honey so valuable for treating the living also made it perfect for preserving the dead, a testament to our ancestors' remarkable understanding of this substance and its multifaceted uses. What began as a simple sweet food became one of humanity's earliest and most important medicines, bridging the gap between nourishment and healing in ways that continue to inspire medical research today. Long before refrigerators hummed in our kitchens, our ancestors faced a constant challenge: how to keep food from spoiling. In a world without modern preservation methods, starvation was always just one bad harvest away. This is where honey, nature's golden preservative, changed the course of human history. What made honey such a remarkable food preserver? The secret lies in its unique chemical composition. Honey has an incredibly high sugar content and remarkably low moisture levels, creating an environment where bacteria and fungi simply cannot survive. When food is submerged in honey, these microorganisms are essentially dehydrated, unable to grow and cause spoilage. It's nature's perfect preservative, working through principles that would take modern science thousands of years to fully understand. Archaeological discoveries have revealed honey-preserved foods in ancient Egyptian tombs, including meats, fruits, and even vegetables that were still recognizable after thousands of years. Imagine that, food preserved not with chemicals or technology, but with a natural substance gathered from the wild. Ancient Romans documented extensive use of honey for food preservation. The famous Roman cookbook by Apicius, written in the 1st century, contains numerous recipes that use honey not just for flavor, but specifically for its preservative properties. Fruits preserved in honey, called melimelum, were considered both a delicacy and a practical way to enjoy summer fruits throughout the harsh winter months. But perhaps the most fascinating example comes from the nomadic Scythian people of ancient Central Asia. Living in harsh climates with extreme seasonal changes, They developed sophisticated methods for preserving meat in honey. These honey-preserved meats could be carried on long journeys across the steppes, providing crucial sustenance when fresh food wasn't available. Think about what this meant for human development. Before honey preservation, our ancestors lived entirely at the mercy of seasonal food availability. During winter or drought, starvation was a constant threat. But with honey, suddenly they could store surplus food from times of plenty to sustain themselves through periods of scarcity. This wasn't just convenient, it was revolutionary. The ability to preserve food likely helped early human communities survive climate fluctuations and harsh seasons that might otherwise have wiped them out. This preservation technique also facilitated some of the earliest long-distance trade. Foods preserved in honey could travel for weeks without spoiling, allowing communities to exchange regional specialties across vast distances. Some historians believe honey preservation was instrumental in early trade routes that connected distant cultures, fostering cultural exchange alongside economic benefits. So did you know honey was used as a natural preservative for thousands of years? If you're enjoying this journey through the fascinating history of honey, hit that like button, share this video, and subscribe to the Dawn of Humankind channel for more incredible stories about our ancestors. And we'd love to hear from you in the comments. Have you ever used honey as a medicine or preservative? What traditional uses of honey have been passed down in your family? Honey wasn't just a food or medicine for our ancestors. It was sacred. This golden substance occupied a special place in the spiritual realm of almost every ancient civilization, often seen as the literal embodiment of divine blessing flowing into the human world. Imagine yourself in ancient Greece, attending a religious ceremony at the Temple of Apollo at Delphi. As worshippers gather, you notice something curious. Honey is being poured as a libation, a sacred offering to the gods. The Greeks believed honey wasn't of this world, but was actually heavenly dew, fallen from the stars and collected by bees. Apollo, god of healing, prophecy, and light, was intimately connected with bees and honey. His priestesses at Delphi were even called Melissae, meaning bees, linking these sacred women directly to the divine wisdom they channeled. But Apollo wasn't the only Greek deity associated with this golden substance. Dionysus, god of ecstasy and ritual madness, was said to have discovered honey and used it to create mead, one of humanity's oldest alcoholic beverages. This honey wine was believed to induce a state of divine intoxication, allowing worshippers to transcend ordinary consciousness and commune with the gods. In ancient Egypt, honey played an equally profound role. When a new pharaoh was crowned, honey was used in a ceremony called the Union of the Two Lands, symbolizing the sweetness and prosperity of a harmonious kingdom. Hieroglyphics show bees presenting honey to the pharaoh, a powerful symbol that divine order flowed from the heavens through nature and into human society through the monarch. Perhaps most fascinating is how honey connected the realms of life and death. The ancient Egyptians placed honeypots in tombs as sustenance for the deceased's journey into the afterlife. And it wasn't just practical. Honey's golden color and seemingly eternal shelf life made it the perfect symbol of immortality. When they called their blessed dead those who have gone to the sweetness, they were invoking honey's sacred qualities. Cross the Mediterranean to ancient Israel, and we find the Promised Land described as flowing with milk and honey, not just a description of agricultural abundance, but a profound spiritual metaphor for divine favor and blessing. Honey appears repeatedly in religious texts as a symbol of God's sweetness and the richness of divine wisdom. In African traditions, honey took on powerful transformative symbolism. Among the Ogiek people of Kenya, honey collection and consumption were integral to male initiation ceremonies, marking the transition from boyhood to manhood. The dangerous honey hunt demonstrated courage, while sharing the honey symbolized the young man's new role as a provider for the community. The sweetness of honey represented the rewards of adult responsibilities. Native American tribes like the Mayans viewed bees as messengers between worlds and honey as their sacred gift. Mayan religious ceremonies often featured honey-based drinks that were believed to open channels of communication with ancestor spirits and deities. The very act of collecting wild honey was surrounded by prayer and ritual, acknowledging the spiritual significance of what might otherwise seem like a simple food-gathering activity. What unites all these diverse beliefs across continents and millennia is the recognition that honey was something extraordinary, a substance that transcended the boundary between the practical and the sacred. Its remarkable properties, golden color, sweetness, healing abilities, and seemingly eternal shelf life made it the perfect bridge between the mundane world of everyday survival and the mysterious realm of the divine. This symbolic power of honey reveals something profound about our ancestors. Even as they struggled for survival, they sought meaning beyond the material, finding in this golden substance a connection to something greater than themselves. Honey did more than just feed and heal our ancestors. It helped shape the very structure of human society. This golden substance played a surprising role in our social evolution, acting as a catalyst for cooperation, trade, and eventually civilization itself. Picture a honey hunt in prehistoric times. A lone individual would face nearly impossible odds, climbing dangerous heights, confronting aggressive bees, and extracting heavy honeycombs, all while trying to avoid deadly stings. But as a group, the task becomes manageable. One person might create smoke to calm the bees, another climbs to reach the hive, while others stand ready to collect the precious honeycomb. This division of labor required planning, communication, and trust, the fundamental building blocks of social cooperation. Evidence of this cooperative honey gathering appears in rock art from around the world. The famous honey hunting scenes at Bhimbetka in India, dating back more than 8,000 years, clearly show groups working together in this dangerous pursuit. These weren't just food-gathering expeditions. They were complex social endeavors that strengthened community bonds. What's particularly fascinating is how honey hunting shaped gender roles and social hierarchies in early human groups. In many traditional societies, honey hunting became a specialized skill, often performed by specific individuals who gained respect and status through their expertise. Among the Hadza people of Tanzania, who still practice traditional honey gathering, skilled honey hunters enjoy special social standing, demonstrating how this activity contributed to early social stratification. But honey's impact on society went far beyond the hunt itself. As a rare and valuable resource with a long shelf life, honey became one of humanity's first tradable commodities. Archaeological evidence suggests honey was being traded over long distances as early as 7,000 years ago. Ancient pottery vessels, specially designed for honey storage and transport, have been found along early trade routes, showing how this golden liquid connected distant communities. In ancient Egypt, honey became so valuable that it was used as currency. Tax collectors would accept honey as payment, and labor contracts sometimes specified payment in honey rather than grain or other goods. This early form of commodity money helped facilitate more complex economic systems, allowing for specialization of labor and the development of non-agricultural professions. The honey trade also spurred technological innovation. Our ancestors developed specialized tools for honey extraction, containers for storage, and eventually methods for domesticating bees. The first evidence of beekeeping appears around 5,000 years ago in Egypt, where people began constructing artificial hives to bring bees closer to home. This transition from hunting to husbandry represented a huge leap in human ingenuity and control over natural resources. Perhaps most importantly, honey created connections between different cultural groups. As traders moved honey across vast distances, they carried not just a sweet substance, but also ideas, technologies, and cultural practices. These exchange networks laid the groundwork for more complex intergroup relations and eventually the development of cities and states. In many ways, honey was an invisible pillar supporting the development of civilization. Its pursuit brought people together, its trade connected distant communities, and its value helped create economic systems that transcended simple barter. So the next time you taste honey, remember, you're experiencing not just a natural sweet treat, but a substance that helped shape the very fabric of human society. As we race forward into a world of synthetic materials and mass production, honey stands as a remarkable bridge to our ancestral past, a living legacy that connects us to practices and wisdom dating back thousands of years. The honey we enjoy today is fundamentally the same substance our distant ancestors risked their lives to collect from wild beehives. A rare continuity in our ever-changing relationship with nature. Around the world, traditional beekeeping methods that would be recognizable to our ancestors are still practiced. In the remote forests of Nepal, honey hunters still climb bamboo ladders hundreds of feet up cliff faces to harvest honey from giant bees, using techniques unchanged for thousands of years. In parts of Greece and Turkey, beekeepers continue to use traditional clay pot hives similar to those depicted in artwork from 2,000 years ago. And in the Yucatan Peninsula of Mexico, Maya beekeepers still tend to the native, stingless bees they call Zunancab, the royal lady bee, just as their ancestors did before the arrival of Europeans. What's truly remarkable about these ancient practices isn't just their cultural value, it's their effectiveness. Modern research has shown that traditional clay and wooden hives often create better conditions for bee health than contemporary commercial equipment. They provide natural temperature regulation and better protection against certain parasites. In a time when bee populations are declining worldwide, these ancient methods offer valuable insights for sustainable beekeeping. But honey's ancient wisdom extends far beyond beekeeping itself. Remember how our ancestors used honey for wound treatment. Today, medical-grade honey is found in modern hospitals around the world. After decades of relying on antibiotics, medical science has circled back to honey as an effective treatment for wounds that won't heal with conventional medicine. Specifically formulated honey dressings are now used to combat antibiotic-resistant infections, a modern application of ancient knowledge that's saving limbs and lives. Researchers at major universities have identified more than 180 compounds in honey, including antioxidants, enzymes, and prebiotics that support digestive health. The antimicrobial properties our ancestors observed are now being explained at the molecular level, confirming what was known through observation thousands of years ago. Even honey's role in preservation finds modern echoes. Today's food scientists study honey's preservative properties as they search for natural alternatives to synthetic preservatives. The same properties that allowed our ancestors to keep food from spoiling are now inspiring new approaches to food safety and extended shelf life. Perhaps most poignantly, honey provides a connection to declining traditions and environmental awareness. As modern agriculture has intensified, with monocultures replacing diverse landscapes, bees face unprecedented challenges. The ancient relationship between humans, bees, and flowering plants is threatened, yet understanding this relationship helps us recognize what's at stake. Each time we taste honey, we participate in one of humanity's oldest continuous relationships with the natural world. The sweet substance that sustained our ancestors through harsh winters, healed their wounds, preserved their food, featured in their sacred ceremonies, and helped build their societies still enriches our lives today. In a world that often seems disconnected from its past and from nature itself, honey reminds us of our deep interdependence with the natural world and the wisdom accumulated over countless generations. This golden bridge spans not just millennia of human experience, but also connects us to a future where ancient knowledge and modern science work together to address the challenges of tomorrow. Honey was far more than just a sweet treat in prehistoric life. It was truly a golden thread woven through the entire fabric of human existence. As we've discovered throughout this journey, this remarkable substance served as a life-saving medicine, an essential food preservative, a powerful spiritual symbol, and even a catalyst for social evolution. Something as seemingly simple as honey shaped how our ancestors survived, traded, worshipped, and ultimately built the foundations of civilization. What's truly fascinating is how this golden liquid, produced by tiny insects, had such an outsized impact on human history. The dangerous honey hunts depicted in cave paintings, the ancient medical treatments that modern science now validates, the preservation techniques that sustained communities through harsh winters, the sacred rituals that connected people to their gods, and the trading networks that linked distant cultures, all of these pivotal human developments trace back to this sweet substance. And this makes you wonder, what other everyday substances around us hold similar profound stories? What ordinary things do we take for granted that might have extraordinary histories behind them? Salt that preserved empires, pigments that colored our understanding of the world, fibers that clothed and connected civilizations, the humble materials of daily life often conceal the most remarkable histories. The story of honey reminds us that human ingenuity often lies not in creating something entirely new, but in discovering the hidden potential in what nature provides. Our ancestors' relationship with honey demonstrates their remarkable powers of observation, their willingness to take risks for valuable resources, and their ability to find multiple uses for a single substance, qualities that remain essential to human innovation today. So the next time you taste honey, take a moment to savor not just its sweetness, but also its story. A story that stretches back to the very dawn of human civilization and continues to unfold in our modern world. If you've enjoyed this exploration of honey's profound role in prehistoric life, please hit that like button and share this video with friends who appreciate the hidden stories behind everyday things. Subscribe to the Dawn of Humankind channel for more fascinating journeys into humanity's past, where we uncover the remarkable stories that shaped who we are today. Until our next adventure through time, remember, sometimes the sweetest discoveries are the ones that connect us to our distant ancestors.